You've clicked on this video for numerous reasons. First and foremost, you are sick of working out or dieting consistently and not looking the way you want to. Or two, you are sick of either dieting or going to the gym inconsistently because what you're doing hasn't been working. What I'm going to do in this video is break down exactly what you need to get into the best shape of your life, how I got into the best shape of my life, and how I get all of my clients into the best shape of their life. I am not going to gatekeep anything. I'm going to go through absolutely everything. And I know that you are probably sick of going through social media and seeing videos after videos after videos after videos of different opinions and different advice. So you do not know what to do. So I will ask you one thing. Just trust me. Just commit to it, okay? Because this is what works. It works for me. It works for all of my clients. This is scientifically backed. This is all you need to do. You will not need any more information after you go away from this video. So don't go and look something else up. Don't go and check somebody else's Instagram. Don't go and check somebody else's TikTok. All you need to do is start. That is all you need to do. You will not need any more information than this. Okay? So I'm going to go through everything like I would do with a client. And a lot of people may be looking at this thinking, are your clients not going to be annoyed? No, because you can get a lot of this information for free online. You can ask AI for a workout plan. You can ask AI for a diet plan. The main benefit of coaching is having 24/7 support, accountability, and to be able to make consistent adjustments throughout. And everything, of course, is personalized to you with coaching. Whereas in this video, I'm just going to be using myself as the case study. But everything works the same for everybody else. The process is always going to be the same, but the numbers and the timeframes are going to be different. Okay? First of all, this is me in June of 2024, weighing around 86.5 kilos. I did not like the way I looked. I was in the worst shape of my life potentially, even though I was holding on to a little bit more muscle. My energy was low all the time, my sleep was bad, and my confidence was low. This is me in May 2025, so 11 months later, in the absolute best shape of my life, weighing around 78 kilos. So I'm going to run you through exactly what I did, exactly what you need to do, and I'm going to be starting with a client onboarding form. This is how my clients fill out the initial form when they come on board, so I have as much information as possible before I set up programs. And yes, 98 clients have signed up to my program in the last 4.5 months when I did start this form. Okay, we are reaching capacity very fast. First things first, we go through the information we need. And I may refer to myself a lot in the third person in this video, so bear with me. It's just easier to say, Connor is this than me. So Connor is 6'1", 86.5 kilos. Now, he has a goal weight of 80 kilos. Disregard goal weight. Disregard goal weight, okay? We are looking for visuals. It does not matter what the number on the scale is. You cannot just say, I want to be 80 kilos lean, because you don't know if you only have 6 kilos of body fat to lose. So disregard the number. It doesn't matter what your goal weight is. You go until the body fat is gone. And that is what we will be doing with Connor. If a client came to me and they said, I want to be 82 kilos shredded and they're currently 86 with 15 kilos of body fat, I will say to them, no, you're going to be 73 kilos or 72 kilos before you're shredded, and then we can pack on muscle after. So do not worry about the number. If there is more body fat to come off, your body weight needs to continuously come down. The goals is just to get shredded, get into the best shape of his life. No injuries or medical conditions. Occupation, online fitness coach. Daily steps currently 8,000. Good sleep schedule. You want to see at least 7 to 8 hours a night. Training experience is intermediate. Training availability. How many days can you train and duration? 6 days a week for an hour each. Access to equipment is a commercial gym. Current diet. What are you doing at the moment? 1,700 calories, 240 grams of protein a day. I'll get into this after. Dietary restrictions. What do you not want in the meal plan? No cheese or butter. Some of your favorite foods. Oats, chicken, potatoes, pasta, beef, mince, fruit, chocolate. Current supplements, creatine and a whey protein. The only two things that you would really need. The only thing that's definitely beneficial is a whey protein, just to help you supplement your protein intake. It doesn't have any special powers. It is just when you have a high protein target, a whey protein is an easy way to get extra protein in. And then creatine is one of the most researched supplements. It just helps your output in the gym. It helps you hold on to a little bit more water weight and it helps you look a little bit more full. But do note, if you start taking creatine at the start of a fat loss phase, your body weight will go up around 1 to 2 kilos, and that is all water weight. So don't you worry about that. And then why does Connor want to achieve his goal? Why did I want to achieve my goal last year? I was sick of feeling like I put so much effort into the gym and his physique never showed it. And I want to inspire others to get into the best shape of their life, which I have done in the last year. And I'm going to help you get into the best shape of your life. Okay? So once I read a client's onboarding form, I will go and set up all of their programs. So for the ease of the video, I've already set up all the programs. So the first thing that we're going to go through is the goals or the roadmap. When I look at this picture, the first thing I have to see is, okay, Connor's holding on to a decent amount of muscle mass. I can tell. I can tell he's got a very full chest, broad shoulders, decently sized arms. The main problem here is just holding on to too much body fat. Everybody holds more body fat than they think, but they also hold more muscle than they think. The biggest issue is the body fat layer is just covering the amount of muscle you're holding onto. So when you strip that body fat layer off, this is what you can look like underneath that, okay? So my first assessment, how much fat does Connor have to lose to get lean, to get shredded? Because this first phase of fat loss, we are doing it until we're finished, okay? We're not just saying, let's lose 8 kilos in 12 weeks. No, we're losing however much fat Connor needs to lose to get shredded. Because when you get shredded, when you get lean, you're going to be more susceptible to actually packing on lean muscle tissue after. You're going to look your best, and then you're going to be in the best shape to go into a long-term gaining phase, because you don't want to go into a gaining phase when you're holding on to too much body fat, because a gaining phase is a slow process. You want to be able to commit to it for a really long period of time. So if you're already unhappy with your current body fat percentage, you will not be able to commit to a gaining phase, because after 2 months, you're going to think, oh, I have too much body fat, I need to cut. So we get lean first, we get shredded, and then we start packing on lean muscle tissue, because then we can commit to a long-term gaining phase as we stay lean. So my first assessment, Connor needs around 16 weeks to get shredded, okay? And you may think, that isn't a lot of time. No, it's not a lot of time, because if you do it properly, you don't actually need that much time. I usually aim for around 1% body weight loss per week with clients. I have found that 1% body weight loss per week is the sweet spot, because we don't want to go too slow. If we go too slow and make the fat loss phase 6 to 8 months, that is just going to be torture mentally, having to do it for 6 to 8 months. You're also not going to see much progress quickly, which is going to be demotivating. But we also don't want to go too quick, because if we're trying to lose 2% body weight per week, 2 kilos a week, we're going to be losing weight so fast that our food will have to be so low, our energy will be so bad, our gym sessions will be so bad, and we're going to be losing muscle. We have to find a sweet spot where we're losing body fat fast, but we're holding on to all of our muscle. Because the difference between getting lean or getting shredded and just dropping weight is that getting lean, getting shredded requires you to have good sessions, hold on to all your muscle, and just strip off the body fat. Anybody could starve themselves, okay? Anybody could eat 1,000 calories a day, but you're going to be losing a lot of fat, a lot of muscle, and really just withering away. You don't want to do that. You want to find the right balance. So I think around 16 weeks. And again, this is always going to be amendable. If we get to the 16-week mark and there's still more body fat to come off, we extend it a couple of weeks. If we get to the 14-week mark and Connor's absolutely shredded, we're done, okay? So this is just a rough estimate. First phase is to drop body fat, retain lean muscle, and get shredded. Then after that, we spend about 4 to 6 weeks in a reverse dieting phase. This is so important. When we finish a cut, when we get shredded, when we get lean, our body is going to be very, very efficient. So if we flip the switch one day and just say, okay, I can eat whatever I want now, I'm done, our body is going to store loads of that food as body fat very, very quickly. What is the point in getting lean if we're not reversing properly and actually learning to maintain the new leaner physique? So in a reverse dieting phase, we slowly up the calories and slowly bring back the activity down, okay? And what we're doing in this reverse dieting phase is we're slowly finding the new calorie maintenance. Because if we can slowly find the new calorie maintenance, then after that, when we go into a lean gaining phase, we can go into a very, very, very small surplus if we've accurately found the new calorie maintenance. Because if we want to stay lean in a gaining phase, we want a very small calorie surplus. Now, since I haven't explained it already, let me explain calorie maintenance, calorie deficit, calorie surplus. What is that? Your calorie maintenance is the estimated amount of calories that your body burns on an average day. All right. And if we eat at this estimated calorie maintenance number, we maintain our body weight. Okay. So my job as a coach, or your job, is to put you in a calorie deficit if you want to drop weight, and put you in a calorie surplus if you want to gain weight. So at first, we're creating that deficit to make sure you're dropping weight. Then when we're reversing, we're slowly bringing the calories back up, finding this new maintenance, because your maintenance calorie number may be 3,000 when you start. But since you are dropping a load of body weight, your actual overall expenditure will be lower. So your new calorie maintenance will be a lot lower. So maintenance starts here, food starts here. We're in a deficit. Throughout the whole process, the food will probably drop as your new calorie maintenance drops. Then when we finish the process, food comes back up slowly, till we find this new maintenance, then a very small surplus from there. Okay? So when we get into that very small surplus, that is the lean gaining phase. Your job in a lean gaining phase is not to gain weight. Your job is not to gain weight. Remember that. I'll say it a third time. Your job is not to gain weight. Your job is to progress in the gym, build strength, and build muscle. You only need to be in around a 50 to 200 calorie surplus. That is the maximum amount of surplus we actually need to be in. What a lot of people do is they eat in a 300 to 500 calorie surplus to ensure that they're in a 50 to 150 calorie surplus. Okay? It's more so just to be safe. Your job is to progress in the gym. The weight will go up. You want to check that the weight is very slowly going up over the course of a few weeks. You don't make quick changes if the weight goes down one day. No, slowly. You're looking for around 1 to 1.5 kilos a month. That is all you're looking for. The weight going up is an indication that you are in a calorie surplus. It is an indication that you have enough energy to progress in the gym and build muscle. Your job isn't to gain weight. The weight gain will happen as a result of you being in a small surplus and progressing in the gym. Okay? So that is the roadmap. Again, all the time frames will change based on what's happening. It's always amendable based on what's happening. If I don't find the correct calorie maintenance 4 weeks into a reverse diet, I'll do 5 weeks of a reverse diet. If the fat loss phase needs to be extended to 17 or 18 weeks, we will do so. Now, for the training setup, Connor said he wanted to train 6 days, 1 hour each. To me, it's too much. We only need 4 or 5 gym sessions, especially in a fat loss phase when you are trying to get shredded. Your goal is not to be packing on as much lean muscle as possible. Your goal mainly in a fat loss phase, especially if you're an intermediate to advanced lifter, is to retain your muscle. Because to go from this to this, I maybe didn't build a whole lot of muscle. I was stripping off the body fat and ensuring that I had all of my muscle still there, because you're going to look insane once you just strip off that body fat. So the main goal is to make sure we just retain our muscle. So the reason, even though Connor said he's got 6 days, an hour each to train, I'm not giving him a 6-day workout split and an hour each. I'm giving him a 4-day workout split, 45 to 55 minutes each, because what is more important on a fat loss phase is your food and your expenditure, so your cardio. I know throughout this phase, the cardio, which I'll get onto in a minute, will be getting ramped up. So I want to make sure that he has those extra 2 days, that extra time on his other sessions to be doing the cardio. Because 2 upper sessions a week and 2 legs and abs sessions a week are more than enough to be retaining all of his muscle and even be building a little bit. So we don't need to do any extra. I would rather free up this time to do cardio. So let's get into the daily step target and weekly cardio. As I explained earlier, we need to create a deficit, okay? So this is how much calories your body burns on an average day. I get to play around with this number by increasing and decreasing expenditure. So increasing and decreasing cardio and steps. And then this is your food intake. So I can make a deficit in whatever way I want to. I can give somebody 5 hours of cardio a week, but then I can also give them 3,000 calories because the expenditure is high and the food is high. I could give somebody no cardio, no steps, and the expenditure is quite low, but then we need low enough food. Again, I like to find a sweet point. I would prefer to give somebody more expenditure and allow them to have more food, because the more food we have, the more we'll be energized, the more our gym sessions will still be good. Again, it is very important that your gym sessions are still good, you're still progressing, and at the very least, you are still maintaining your strength. So, what Connor is going to start with, he's currently doing 8,000 steps a day. So, I'm not going to give him 12,000, 15,000 because I know that's a lot of extra time. I'm just going to say, let's just do 10,000 a day. Let's bring that up by 15 minutes of extra walking a day. That's all we need to do. And for now, to start off, we're just going to be doing 60 minutes of cardio weekly. Now, cardio is not special in any way. Cardio is just a tool. If you want to just do daily steps every single day, you can. The reason we implement cardio as well, or cardio instead of steps, is because cardio will just burn the calories a little bit quicker than steps. So it all depends on you and your lifestyle. If I have a busy professional on and he works 14-hour days sitting at a desk and he can only do around 3,000 steps a day, he's going to be doing a little bit more cardio because we're going to be burning the calories a lot quicker that way. But if somebody has a very, very active job and on an average day they do 18,000 steps without even trying, they may do no cardio because they're already doing those steps. So we're going to start with these numbers. And I'm going to get on to why I explicitly say start with and why I have initial nutritional setup here. The cardio type, it's moderate intensity. Something like a bike, Stairmaster, incline treadmill. And note that if you're doing something like incline treadmill, it is separate to your steps. So if you use something like a wearable, take it off when you're doing the incline treadmill. It is just important to be able to track these two things separately so we can make amendments if things aren't working. The reason we want something that is moderate intensity or low intensity is a few reasons. We don't want to put too much stress on our body because again, when our calories are lower and our carbs are lower, we want to use all of our carbs, all of our fuel for our gym sessions. We don't want to be using all of that up doing high intensity cardio. Another reason, we don't want to be putting too much stress on the body or doing something like running where we're going to feel like we need to fuel ourselves with a lot of extra food. If you're doing a lot of running, a lot of high intensity stuff, you're going to be a lot hungrier as well. If you're doing running, your leg training will be impacted. Something moderate. Steps, incline treadmill, bike, Stairmaster, where your heart rate is around 130 to 150 beats per minute. Now, initial nutritional setup. The reason all of this is initial is the only thing that I'm doing is giving you numbers and seeing how your body responds to it. And that is all you do. You pick numbers and see how your body responds to it. I need the first 10 to 14 days to see if this is even working. And if it's your body weight is coming down too quick, I will just make an amendment. I'll give you more food. If your body weight is coming down too slow, I'll just make an amendment. I'll increase expenditure first. If you don't have any more time to increase expenditure, I will bring down food. Okay? And we give it 10 to 14 days. We don't make quick amendments. 10 to 14 days to see how your body is actually responding to it. 10 to 14 days to see if you're actually plateauing. So, this is training day. This is non-training day. You don't really need to worry about that, to be honest. A lot of people like to do increased carbs on a training day. It's not something that I like to do. It's not something that's really necessary. Calorie target is 2,300. Protein target is 190. The two reasons we have protein. The first one is with an adequate, with an adequate protein target, it helps us to retain all of our muscle. So when we are dropping weight, it is just going to be dropping body fat. And the second reason is because protein is a lot more satiating than the other two macronutrients, carbs and fats. So filling your diet with a lot of protein will make you feel more full on these lower calorie numbers. Then we have a moderate fat count. We need fats for our hormones and our bodily functions. We need fats, but we don't want to go too high on fats. So around 66, around 0.8 grams per kilo of body weight. And then carbs are whatever is left over after you give a protein and fat target. Carbs are probably the least important macronutrient out of these two because protein and fats are very, very essential. Then, what a client is going to be filling in, what you should be keeping track of anyways. First of all, is body weight. You don't worry about day-to-day weigh-ins. You don't get affected by day-to-day weigh-ins, but you do daily weigh-ins in order to get an average. And you're going to do your weigh-ins in the exact same condition every single day. So first thing out of bed, before you eat or drink, and after the toilet if possible. Keep it consistent. You don't weigh in Monday morning and then Tuesday evening, because on Tuesday evening you're going to be holding on to a lot more gut content, a lot more water weight. This is not your actual weight. Your actual weight is what you are weighing first thing in the morning. You're going to put it in here every day and you're going to get a weekly average. The reason we look at weekly averages is because your body weight is going to fluctuate so much day to day. If you have more carbs last night, your body will have more glycogen, you'll hold on to more water. If you've had more salt yesterday, your body will have more sodium, you'll hold on to more water. If you're having digestion issues, you'll hold on to more gut content. If you've had a hard training session 2 days ago and your muscles are still sore, your body will be inflamed, you'll hold on to more water. So weight is always going to be up and down and up and down, up and down every single day. That is why we just look at an average. Then, when I'm coming in here and doing a client's weekly check-in, the main thing that I'm looking for is their body weight coming down around 1% per week on average. If their body weight is coming down, I know that they are in a calorie deficit. That simple. If the body weight is not coming down, we're not in a calorie deficit and I need to make an amendment. Here, we can click training or rest day and we can see our targets. So we're going to put in our actual steps, our actual calories, protein, fats, and carbs. I get a client to track everything you're eating on MyFitnessPal. That way, all that matters is that you're getting as close as possible to these targets. You can just eat what you want pretty much, get close to these targets. You don't need perfect whole foods. You don't need to follow any sort of fad diets. You can have some chocolate here and there. You can have crisps. You can have a takeaway on the weekend, as long as the averages are getting pretty close to these numbers, okay? But I wouldn't be a pretty good coach if I wasn't giving people meal plans. So I'm going to run you through a meal plan. I couldn't just say, go and hit these targets, and you have no idea on how to hit these targets. So here's a sample meal plan. Here's a meal plan that I would follow myself. Every meal plan is going to be different. I have 2 examples here. One is 4 big meals. The other one is 3 meals and some daily snacks. So we're going to start with something like a protein oats. We're going to fill up these oats with a lot of fruit. Fruit like strawberries and raspberries is going to be pretty satiating and very, very low calories. So 100 grams of strawberries and 100 grams of raspberries is only around 60 calories. We're going to opt for something like unsweetened almond milk or water to make these oats, because if we use fresh milk, whole milk, it's going to be way more calories. Your oats are going to be a slower digesting carb source, so it's going to keep us full throughout the day as they digest. Obviously, it doesn't matter what brand of protein powder you go for. Pick one that you like and that digests well. So this meal is an easy one to prep the night before. You can bring it into work with you in the morning. You can make it in the morning, whatever. This meal comes out at 587 calories, 44 grams of protein, 10 grams of fats, and 71 carbs. Your second meal is going to look like something like chicken, sweet potato, veg, load up on veg. Obviously, you don't have to have a Coke Zero or Nando's medium sauce. This is just to represent having condiments. Make sure you're tracking that as well. And then this is just to represent 0-calorie drinks, 0-calorie energy drinks can help us curb sugar cravings on a fat loss phase. Potato is going to be the most satiating carb source. You can always have rice, okay? You can have pasta. You can have bread. It doesn't actually make a difference. If you're having 215 calories of pasta, bread, or rice, it's not going to make a difference to your physique, the way you look, or how you drop weight. The reason we would go for something like potato is because 250 calories of potato is going to keep you more full. It's going to be more satiating. And that is how we make options on a fat loss phase. Then we're going to have some 5% steak mince, some rice. We're going to cook that mince in olive oil. Again, make sure you're tracking your oils, your sauces, your creams. We're loading up on veg again, and we're doing some hot sauce again. Now, there's no reason why I've switched around the meat choice. No real reason. It is better to switch things around so you're getting different amino acids, different nutrients. But if you're very busy and you want to just prep the exact same meal again, of course you can do so. This meal comes out at 613 calories, 51 protein, 21 fats, and 61 carbs. Then the snacks throughout the day, we're going to go for something like a skyr yogurt or a Fage 0% yogurt. Very, very good calories. It's pretty much pure protein. A very good snack. A Rice Krispie square bar, some dark chocolate for our fats and to help curb our sugar cravings, because again, Connor likes fruit and chocolate, so we're going to give him some dark chocolate, and then more fruit throughout the day. How are you going to time these meals? The only thing that really matters is spacing it out. I like to say at least 30 grams of protein 4 times a day is really good for protein synthesis, but also timing it around our gym sessions. As our calories get lower, we want to make sure we're timing our carbs well. So we want fast digesting carbs 15 to 45 minutes before our workout. So that's going to be your Rice Krispie square bars, because a Rice Krispie square bar is made of mainly puffed rice, syrup, and sugar, which is all fast digesting. It'll hit your bloodstream quickly, give you fast energy. Then we're going to want slow digesting carbs 2 to 3 hours before. So we're looking at something like our potatoes or our oats. If you train first thing in the morning, you're going to want just your fast digesting carbs. Other fast digesting carbs, rice cakes, banana, honey, jam, bagels. Okay, so you can have a bagel and jam in the morning. You can have a Rice Krispie Square bars and a banana. All right. There's a second meal plan too, which I won't go through. It's just to show you that there's more options there too. There's other ways to hit these targets. This meal plan comes out at 2264, 187 protein, 65 fats, 230 carbs. Note how it's not exact. It's never going to be exact. That is completely fine. You're getting extremely close to these numbers, completely fine. Then, what we're going to go through is training and training notes. You need to be logging all of your sessions on your notes app. A client would log it on our training app, which I'll show you in a minute. Making sure that you know what weight you're doing and you are progressing. I would expect you to earn progressions. The method for progressing in a gym is simple. You aim to progress via either reps or weight, and only progress via weight when you've reached the top of the rep range given. So say you're doing bench press and your rep range given is 8 to 12 reps. You go in on day 1 and you do 50 kilos for 8. The next session, you're going to try and get 50 kilos for 9, 50 for 10 the next, 50 for 11 the next. Then once you're getting 50 for 12 consistently, you up the weight. Then you may be doing 55 kilos for 9, 55 for 10, 55 for 11, 55 for 12. Then you up the weight again and you progress again. You only take progressions into account if your form or execution is nailed. You do not force progression. I'll say that again. You do not force progression. You don't make your form worse in order to get an extra rep. You make sure that you are keeping your form the exact same. That is how you accurately track progression. Allow progression to happen, don't force it. There are some things on rest periods and warm-up sets and hydration that you can pause and read through. One thing that I always say, I like to see a slow eccentric, 2 or 3 seconds. Really control the weight. Use the intended muscle group. This is going to be really important for most beginner to intermediate lifters. Scientifically, it's not something that we 100% need, but I always like to see it. Make sure that you're actually controlling it and using the intended muscle group. Intensity. You need to be bringing everything to your sets, leaving nothing left out there. Maximal intensity always, but while maintaining correct form, making sure you are pushing to failure or close to failure on most sets. And then I get clients to film working sets and send them over to me so I can analyze them. But for you, you should still film it anyways and make sure that you are performing it correctly. It always helps to have a look back at your form. And sometimes you can see if you're training hard enough or not. Supplements, I don't directly recommend any of these to you. It's just some ideas. Again, like I mentioned earlier, the only thing I would say is a whey protein and maybe a creatine. Now, what I'm going to show you is the workout plan. So over here is our training app. This is the main thing we do on this training app with clients is we track workouts, make sure they're progressing, and then we also take progress photos and do a weekly check-in form, which I'll show you in a minute. Make sure that you are taking progress photos every single week because the scale is a great way to see that you are in a calorie deficit, but sometimes photos show more progress. Photos are more motivating than just a number on the scale. So the training program, like I mentioned earlier, the main goal is to retain muscle. It's not to be packing on a load of lean muscle tissue. The main goal is just to retain it, so you do not need an extremely fancy workout. Connor is working out in a commercial gym. He's not going to have access to crazy equipment. We do not need 90-minute sessions or 120-minute sessions. We just need to be doing the basics. Make sure that we are doing enough. Extremely simple workout programming, making sure we're getting the most out of minimal time. So we're starting with a calf raise. It helps to warm up the ankles, and I know most of you will skip it if you don't do it at the start. Then we're doing a leg curl. This can be a seated leg curl or a lying leg curl, whatever your gym has access to. Again, it's not that deep. 3 sets of 10 to 15 reps. We're going into our main squatting movement. The reason I do not like to use big compounds on a fat loss phase is because our food is lower, our calories are lower. A big heavy compound like a normal barbell back squat or a normal deadlift is just going to absolutely fry our central nervous system. It's going to be very hard to recover on when we are in an energy deficit. So we want something more stable like a hack squat, something where the machine is stabilizing us rather than us using a lot of different muscles around our body to actually stabilize ourselves. So a hack squat, a barbell hip thrust for our glutes, leg extensions for our quads, and then we're going into abs. Very, very simple session. If you are a bodybuilder in the gaining phase, I would advise A lot more volume than this and a lot more different exercise selection. But this is all you need if you're on a fat loss phase or a shredding phase. And then we're going to train our abs. A lot of people say abs are made in the kitchen. Of course not. Abs are a muscle. They are revealed in the kitchen and built in the gym. So my favorite ab exercise of all time is the cable kneeling crunch and then a hanging leg raise. And the legs and abs B session is pretty much the exact same. Small tweaks in terms of exercise priority and exercise volume, but you want to keep your exercises consistent from session to session and week to week. So if you know you're accurately progressing, you know that you're not getting weaker on these movements. If you were to change things around from every single session and every single week, how do you know if you're getting weaker? How do you know if you're getting stronger? How do you know what weight you're going to be using when you go into the gym? And then upper body, very, very simple again. We are doing a minimum of 6 sets for each muscle group per week. That is all we need. A dumbbell incline bench press because most people have an underdeveloped upper chest. And like I mentioned earlier, I don't like people getting under a heavy compound on a fat loss phase, which is why I don't give a barbell bench press. A lat machine wide bar grip for our lats, of course, for our back. Chest fly, more chest movements for our mid to low pec. A wide grip row for our upper back, our traps, our rear delt. And then some bicep curls. It really doesn't matter what kind of bicep curl you do. A tricep push down for your triceps, clearly. And then a dumbbell lateral raise for the side delt in your shoulders. That is it. And upper body B is quite similar. The only other thing that you need is to be consistently making amendments. So be keeping track of all of your data. Be keeping track on whether the body weight is coming down. If the body weight is coming down and your strength is still there in the gym, you are on the right track. That is all. That is all that matters at the end of the day. Everything else I mentioned is how you get there, but as long as the body weight's coming down, you're in a calorie deficit, and as long as your strength in the gym is still there, you have adequate protein, your training's still good, you're holding onto your muscle. If your body weight stalls after 10 to 14 days, like I mentioned earlier, bring down calories by 100 per day, and then give it another 7 days and see what happens. Or bring your expenditure up. Bring your cardio up by 30 minutes a week. Bring your steps up by 1,000 per day. Don't make too many quick adjustments. Don't make big jumps at a time. Just make small changes, see how your body responds. If the body weight starts falling off again, lovely. If it doesn't, make a small change again. That is all you do. And then everybody's time frame will be different. It might take you 16 weeks to get shredded. It might take you 12 weeks to get shredded. It might take you 24, 30 weeks. Everybody is different. The only other thing I will say is around the 18 to 20 week mark is when I would probably recommend a dieting break. If you're on very low calories, your expenditure is quite high, your energy levels are quite low, you're feeling quite fatigued, and the weight isn't really coming off anymore, you need a dieting break. You need a couple weeks of a mental and physical reset. You need to get your metabolism firing again. So what you're going to do on a dieting break, you're not going to say, I'm not tracking anything, I'm going completely off the rails. You're just going to strategically increase your carbs and bring down your expenditure a little bit. So say on week 18 of your cut, you're doing 120 minutes of cardio weekly, your calories are 2,000. What I want you to do is increase your calories to 2,400, all carbs. That's going to be an extra 100 grams of carbs and bring your cardio down to 60 minutes weekly. Do that for 2 weeks. That's going to help you wash off a little bit of fatigue and you're going to get a mental and physical reset. That is absolutely everything you need to get into the best shape of your life. Now I urge you, just start. Just do it. It will be the best decision you have ever made. And in 3 months' time or 6 months' time or 12 months' time, whatever it may be, you will thank your past self so much for just starting. I don't know why I didn't do it sooner. Last year, my confidence was through the floor. I hated how I looked. I hated how I felt. This year, I feel great. I am way more confident in how I look. My energy levels are through the ceiling, and I cannot believe I didn't do it sooner. A physical challenge like this will give you all of the traits that you need to succeed in life. It will teach you discipline, self-control, resilience, consistency, and most importantly, patience. Because you may be 4 weeks into the process, you may be 6 weeks into the process and see no results, but it will teach you to do the hard thing anyways. And I take all of these traits, I take this mindset into every single thing I do in my life now. And even if I am working on something else and I don't see results straight away, I still remain resilient, I remain consistent, and I remain patient because I know the rewards we can reap when we do the hard thing anyways, no matter what the results look like. So please start. And if you would like to take any of the guesswork out of it, have all of your programs personalized to you, and have 24/7 support to my personal phone number, you can apply for one-to-one coaching in my bio. Now go start.